For those of you who don't know who I am and what I'm all about, my name is Chris Ducker. I am a serial entrepreneur. I'm also the author of this book, which came out in 2014, Virtual Freedom. Over 60,000 copies sold. I think close to 850 or so 5-star reviews on Amazon as well. A blog, which over 100,000 visitors each month. I have a podcast at Upreneur FM with over 200,000 downloads a month, and I've hosted for the first time just last month in London the inaugural Upreneur Summit, where we had over 350 entrepreneurs from, I believe, 37 countries around the world. At Chris Ducker on Twitter, hashtag #MyPerfectYear. Let me know what you thought of this masterclass and what your biggest takeaway from it was as well. All right, so Walt Disney once said, if you can dream it, you can do it. But here's the thing. There are way too many dreamers in the world and not enough doers in the world. Now, if you were at the Upreneur Summit last month, you would have seen this slide from stage when I was going through some of this stuff with you. And I'm a big believer of dreaming. I think dreaming is something that we often forget to do as we focus on building our businesses. And I love Walt Disney. I'm a massive Disney fan. Me and my family love the Walt Disney parks and the company and the movies and all that sort of stuff. But the fact is, what's the point of dreaming anything if you're not going to take action and work towards actually doing it? And when it comes to goals, there are 3 types of goals that we ultimately foresee ourselves setting on a regular basis. First up, there's the short-term goal. So this is something that you might want to achieve in the next month or the next 3 months. Then there's the long-term goal. This could be 1 year, maybe 2 years, 3 years. And then there's the longer-term goal, right? This is something, maybe it's a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan. I look at Upreneur as a brand, as a business, as a company, as my longer-term goal. The fact of the matter is that medium-term goals are my favorite. Said nobody ever. You see how I mentioned there, in a bit of fun with this slide, but you see how I mentioned there in the 3 types of goals. Medium-term goals are not talked about all that much if you think about it, right? No, seriously, think about it. Just for a second here. Think about it. You don't hear people say, well, my medium-term goal is to do blah, blah, blah. They don't talk about that. They talk about short-term goals, or they talk about long-term goals, or maybe they talk about longer-term goals, whatever the case may be. The fact is that those 3 types of goals are fundamentally going to shape the way that we build and monetize our businesses over the next 2 weeks, 2 years, 2 decades, 5 decades, whatever the case may be. And we all know, look, smart money says that our audience, our community, our followers, our subscribers, our current customers will be the ones that fundamentally steer our businesses into the right direction. Our customers will tell us how to grow our businesses through what they need, the solutions to the problems that they bring to you. So that's understanding the 3 different types of goals. So stop thinking about medium term. Let's face it, nobody really does that, right? Think about short term, 3 to maybe 6 months, absolutely maximum. Think about long-term goals, maybe up to a year, 2 years, and then longer-term goals as well. For me, this is the way I've planned my businesses over the last decade. I now, like I say, sit on several multi-7-figure annual revenue businesses. I hire and employ well over 400 people on a full-time basis, and I'm very, very blessed to have a worldwide community of followers, such as you guys tuning in right now, to back all of those claims up. The real fact of the matter here, guys, is that if you don't set the right type of goals, you can't achieve the right type of legacy that you're planning on putting in place for you, your family, and your businesses, and more importantly, actually, for your customers as well, because we want to be serving first before we start to sell. So to be able to sell, though, you need to know in what direction you're looking to sell to. So we're going to break down and we're going to work on this first exercise with each other right now. So get a pen, get a piece of paper ready, okay? And I'd love for you to get involved with this, and I want you to type into that comment, that question box. Let me know exactly what your money number is for 2018. And don't worry if you haven't already got it in place, that's fine. Honestly, we're going to get it sorted out with you right now. You've got nothing to worry about, okay? So let's break this down so you can see exactly how to work out what your money number is, and more importantly, just how much easier it is to hit that money number, okay? And by the way, you can't just say a 6-figure or a 7-figure revenue. You need to have an actual real money number in place. You can't just throw out, I'm going to be making 7 figures. Well, I mean, there's a lot of 7-figure numbers out there, right? So keep that in mind, and we're going to run through this real quick as we work out exactly what our money number is going to be. So first up, you're going to think of that money number as your annual goal, okay? Your annual goal. Now, this is where we're going to make this seem a lot easier to obtain than you probably think it is at this particular moment in time. What I want you to do is I want you to take that money number, I want you to take that annual goal, and I want you to break it down into a quarterly goal. Okay, so divide whatever the number is by 4, obviously. Then I want you to take that number and I want you to go ahead and divide it again, okay, into a monthly goal. So whatever the annual number was, divide it into 12, obviously. Then I want you to go ahead and divide whatever number that is into 4 to get your weekly goal. You see what we're doing here, guys? We're reverse engineering what that annual money number actually was. Then we're going to end with our daily goal. All right? We're reverse engineering all of those numbers to ultimately come up with that daily goal. And it's that daily goal that we need to be focusing in on. It's not the annual number that we need to focus on every day. It's actually the daily goal that we have to focus on every day. So I'm going to be quiet here just for about 60 seconds or so. I want you to look at the screen right here, and I want you to figure out exactly what your annual money number will be for 2018, and then we're going to work out, reverse engineer it together so that you can figure out exactly what you need to make on a daily basis. As you guys are doing that, I'm not going to be super quiet because I want to throw some numbers at you that some of you have been sharing, and please feel free to throw that money number at me. Elaine here is asking, how do I pick the money number? It's a really good question, Elaine, and quite frankly, it comes down to sort of figuring out where you are right now and where you want to be from a financial or revenue perspective 12 months from now. Don't overthink it at this point. Whatever you're making right now, maybe you're doubling it, maybe you're tripling, quadrupling it, whatever it is, just figure out how much you'd like to make by the end of 2018, and that's your money number. Don't overthink it. Keep it simple. Melissa's saying she wants to make $50,000 by March 30. Okay, $50,000 US by March 30. So prorata that into an annual income, it would end up being $200,000, which would be coming out at around $600 per day, if my maths serves me right. Laurie is saying 100 grand. Zelko is saying 80,000. Torben is saying 7-figure. Now be careful, Torben. Remember what I said. You're going to get that number damn straight in your mind. Mark is saying 50. JL is saying 60. We've got Mukesh is saying 120. I love these numbers. 250 for Gabriel. $500,000 for Matthew. Now we're getting excited. Can I get 600? Can I get 650? Can I get 7? And we got Tanya is saying 260. Jean is saying $500,000. Ali is saying that her money number seems small, 40,000 revenue, but that's £110 per day, which is totally achievable. I love that mindset, Ali. Love that mindset. Maria, 200,000 in revenue. We've got Quinton is putting out at just over $1,000 a day. I love it. We've got Edie is here at 1.3 million. I love these numbers. You see what I'm saying? You see the vast difference, guys, right? The vast difference in some of these numbers. It doesn't matter. You see what is a target for one person might be way too lofty for some others. But the fact of the matter is that you are here working out what you want to do together. And that, for me, is the key. That, for me, is the key. 250,000, we've got 32,000, we've got 3 million, we've got 120K, we've got 100K, we've got 325, 200,000, 100,000, 2 million from Alex, 300,000 USD is now Torben updating his number. Love it. That's not 7 figures, that's 6 figures. You see how we get more specific right now. I love this. This is great. Great. Okay, so let's break this down just as an example real quick. Annual target of $100,000, once you break it down, is $25,000 a month. It's just over $8,300 per month. So we go from $100,000 a year, $25,000 quarterly, just over $8,000 monthly, just over $2,000 weekly, which comes out at $297 per day. Now here's the thing. When I ask people whether they feel, based on their experience, based on what they do, the services that they have, the products that they supply, the plans that they've got in place, do they feel like they can average $297 a day in revenue over the next 12 months? Almost everyone that I talk to says yes, absolutely. But here's the thing. Not many people actually hit it. And the reason why is because they don't take the action needed. Amy is saying that sounds really doable. It is, Amy. It's super doable. Very doable if you take the action you need to take to be able to go ahead and achieve it. So this is what I want to talk about next. I want to talk about how do you actually make it happen. Whatever that money number is, what are you going to do to actually make it happen? Now, Melissa's already ahead of the curve here. She's saying she needs 10 clients a day, or maybe 10 sales a day to make that happen. Good. Fantastic. The number is there. And that's what it's all about. This is how you plan the perfect year. You work in, you zoom in on the numbers. The numbers never lie in business. The numbers will never, ever, ever lie. So let's work out what we need to do to make it happen. Now, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to share a few ideas for you. Obviously, I don't know all of your businesses intimately, but what I do know is that there are a lot of different ways to be able to make extra money. That is for sure. Depending on how far ahead of the curve you are from a business growth perspective, there might be more options to you than others. But the fact of the matter is, as long as you take action based on ideas, you can always end up making more money. I'm a fair believer on that. I really, really am. So the first thing you can do is that you can increase your current prices. So think about the products, the services, maybe the experiences that you're offering already, and consider fundamentally increasing those prices across the board. Okay, Maria, and I'm going to keep going back to some of your comments here. Maria saying, I need 16 clients a month at my highest rate. That might be true right now, Maria, but you could potentially need less clients each month if you were to increase that higher rate a little bit more, right? So it's important to look at that. It's important to look at that as much as you possibly can. Rebecca is saying that she needs 121 people in her new membership club to be able to achieve her money goal. You see, that's a number. That's attainable. It's fundamentally attainable. 121 people. What do I need to do now, says Rebecca to herself, because she's a smarty pants. What do I need to do to get 121 people into my new membership club? So ultimately, it comes down to being super aware of where you are and what you're offering. Increasing prices is a good start. You can also offer high-end coaching. Now, if you're like a lot of people that I work with, you might be a potential personal brand entrepreneur. So you're an author, a speaker, a coach, a consultant, a blogger, a podcaster, a live streamer, a YouTuber, whatever the case may be. You're building a business based around you, your personal brand, your personality, your experience, and the people that you want to serve. People will pay to pick your brains. Okay? People will pay actually now more so than ever before to access your experience levels. I mean, think about it, right? How many people do you get on a weekly or even monthly basis saying to you, hey, can I pick your brains real quick? Or, hey, I've got a quick question. Or, I was wondering, can you help me with this? If that happens to you, just type in yes real quick. Just type in yes real quick and hit that return or that enter key. Because I know it happens to me every single day. If you're the right type of people for my audience, I know I'm going to get a ton of yeses right now. And I am. I've got, holy moly, a crap load of yeses. Okay, good. See, this is what I'm talking about. And actually, Jonathan, in his infinite wisdom, has just said, quick questions are never quick. You are absolutely right, my man. You are absolutely right. So keep all that in mind. And Lisa Holmes is saying high ticket is the fastest way to make money. It might be the fastest way to make money, but obviously you've got to get to that point before you can offer that high-end coaching as well. So keep that in mind. And I'm sure Anissa, knowing her the way I do, obviously will back me up on that claim. Next up, you can deliver more products or services on top of what you're already providing already to your client base, right? So think about maybe one or two, establishing or identifying rather 2 or 3 gaps in your product or your service offerings right now, and think about what you can actually do to fill up those gaps and to ultimately get to the point where not only are the gaps filled up, but people are excited about the fact that they're filled up and they're willing to go ahead and buy those new products or those new services from you. And let me tell you something. I don't care what niche you're in. I don't care what industry you're serving in any way, shape, or form. The fact of the matter is your customers are always going to want more from you if you are providing value to them on a consistent basis. So bear that in mind as well. So just increase the sheer offerings that you give to your customer base. And finally, this is kind of a given, but start looking seriously into creating multiple streams of income for you and your business. So a perfect example might be maybe a business coach or a health and fitness consultant or whatever the case may be. It doesn't really matter. Maybe you're already offering high-end coaching. Maybe you've got 1 or 2 downloadable products or courses that you're offering. But are you getting involved with affiliate marketing? Is there a line of products or maybe online services that your community and your followers would be interested in learning more about and ultimately using that could not only benefit themselves by solving a problem, but also benefit you by putting money in your pocket, either on a one-time or a recurring basis, right? Is there potentially a book inside of you that you haven't already written and published yet? And it's so easy to self-publish your book nowadays. I went traditionally with Virtual Freedom, my first book, but Rise of the Youpreneur is self-published because I wanted to control 100% of it across the entire board. So it's very easy, much easier today to become a published author than it was, 3, 4, 5 years ago. And publishing a book is like one of the easiest way to really stake a claim in your market, in your industry, as somebody who's a go-to source of information. Maybe there's not a book inside of you, but there is a course inside of you that your customers have asked for and you haven't gone ahead and created. Maybe it's a recurring membership website that you can charge on a monthly or a quarterly basis for. Whatever the case may be, think about creating these additional income streams for you, because at the end of the day, if you're providing value to your people, they're going to want to buy more from you. That's simple. So I want to be quiet for 60 seconds, genuinely quiet now for 60 seconds or so, and I want you to look at those 4 quick ideas on how to make it happen in terms of achieving that money number for you. And I want you to just start making notes based on those things and maybe any other ideas that pop into your head. And if you feel the need or the inclination to go ahead and share, type them in and I'll read them out real quick and give you a quick name drop as well, because I think it's important for us to share these ideas with each other as well. I don't care what industry you're in. There's no real competitors out there when you're building the business of you. People want to do business because of you, not necessarily because of your products. And I'm a big believer in that. So make some notes and then go ahead and type in to the question / comment box here, and I'll read some out in about a minute from now. I'm going to be quiet. If I had elevator music, I'd play it, but I don't. You'll just have to listen to nothing. Here we go. Oh, there's some great stuff coming through here, guys. Keep them coming. I'm going to read them all out because I know you're going to get a lot of great ideas from each other. So much good stuff. I am so blessed to have so many incredibly smart people following me. Good God. I never take you for granted. Those who know me know that I don't take my community for granted. All right, as you guys are wrapping up, I'm going to start reading some of this out. Julie Brown is saying she's going to become a coach for older women who lack confidence in how they are changing. We've got blogging and more affiliate marketing from Mukesh. We've got Stephen saying he's going to offer online PT coaching and online running coaching services. Love that. Maria is saying that she's definitely considering increasing her prices and offering a high-end coaching package along with her monthly digital marketing support packages as well. Brilliant, Maria. Maybe you can bundle those up as well. Think about bundling those together. Julie's saying that she potentially start selling things on Amazon as well as everything else she's working on. Quinton's saying that he's written 3 books, but none of them really make a lot of income. You know, Quinton, honestly, books are really, at the end of the day, a lead generation source. So just provide lots and lots of value and make sure you've got a really, really solid call to action in the book to get people onto your email list and that sort of type of thing. Again, watch out for February, where I'm going to be doing a masterclass on writing and marketing your first or your next book. It's going to be very timely, obviously, because of Rise of a Youpreneur coming out that month. So I'm going to be sharing all my tips and strategies on how to market books successfully and to sell not only, a couple of hundred copies, but thousands and thousands of copies. Amy's saying she's going to start a monthly membership to introduce herself to the public. Love it. What else we got here? Judy is saying she's going to add courses, classes, services, and maybe a high-end VIP day. I love that, Judy. I love the idea of bringing people together with live events. It's my number one focus going forward as well for my Youpreneur brand. I can talk about that a little bit more later if you guys are interested. Warren is saying that he is going to create new platforms to reuse old artwork on new products as well as sell more artwork as well. Nancy's saying that she's going to choose the top-of-the-line products to promote the company, also t-shirts as well. Make sure that you add affiliate links into books. Couldn't agree more. Mark is saying he's going to create audio books. That's on his list. A book written to be released in audio only. That's very interesting as well, because we're becoming more and more kind of astute, aren't we, as a bunch of consumers to audio content, as well as obviously video content too. So look, guys, so much incredibly great stuff. A lot easier to make it happen than most people think it is, right? All you need to do is take that action. And when it comes to taking the action, what we really need to focus in on here are how are we going to focus in on the things that we really need to be putting our attention to and avoiding the things that we shouldn't be putting our attention to, right? And that, for me, all comes down to non-negotiables. This is, again, something that I have done every single year for years and years and years. Going into the beginning of each year, I've always asked myself, what are my non-negotiables next year? Sometimes there's just 2 or 3. Some other years there might be a lot more. But generally there's just 2 or 3 non-negotiables going into next year. So the one, I can tell you one right now, and I'm still working on mine. I'm a little behind because of the Upana Summit, but I'm working on my non-negotiables right now. The one non-negotiable that I'm 100% sure is going to go into place for 2018 is that I'm not going to be managing when I say managing, I'm kind of not managing it yet because one of my virtual assistants manages this inbox, but it's the main inbox for chrisducker.com, which is my blog, my online home, my podcast, and everything that I do. So my VA basically goes in and cleans that up at the beginning of each day before I get into it around just before lunchtime. But I still find myself being sucked in to this vortex of an hour or so of email every single day. And actually, a lot of the stuff that I'm replying to could be handled by a more high-level VA or project manager. So the first thing that I'm going to be doing going into 2018 is not dealing with that main inbox anymore. I've actually created a new email address, yes, at that domain name, but it's a private one. It's one that I will give out to only the people that I want to have direct access to me, and I will be only managing that email address going forward, probably by the end of January onwards. So that's one of my non-negotiables for next year as well. In fact, actually, I can tell you another one right now, although it's not solidly in place. Like I said, I'm still finalizing myself right now. It'll end up probably being 3 or 4 of my non-negotiables for 2018. But another thing that I'm not going to put up with anymore, and I've had to handle quite a bit of it this year, are employees letting me down for one reason or another. Now look, when you get to 400 plus employees, obviously the chances of them screwing up, letting you down, not paying attention, not following instructions, and all that sort of stuff goes up through the roof. Obviously, Matt is here and he's saying, amen, staff are a pain. They absolutely are. But Matt, I'm sure you'll agree, without them, we can't grow our businesses and serve our client bases, obviously, right? But the fact of the matter is that I have put up with a certain amount of BS. Hold my tongue there a little bit. I've had to put up with a certain amount of BS this year from certain members of my staff, some of them very key to my organization, because I was so busy with lots of different projects this year, from the book to the event to Upreneur growth to my baby coming along and all the rest of it, that it was kind of one of those things that I just kind of kept pushing to one side. 2018, I am not accepting any kind of incompetence or lack of focus on anybody doing anything they shouldn't be doing when it comes to serving me as their employer. So there's a couple of little things right there that I've been working on, and I want to be quiet now. Let's run through these real quick, because I've actually got some quick examples for some of the other non-negotiables that I've been hearing from other people over the last couple of weeks, as well as I've been discussing this concept with people. So this was a great one, actually, from a consultant friend of mine in the UK. And he says that he's now no longer, this is a huge one as well, no longer going to accept new clients that he has a bad vibe about. Does anybody here have bad vibes about clients when they come your way? You know, you say to yourself, man, you know what? I'm not too sure about this. I don't think I'm getting a ton of, oh yeah. There's a lot of exclamation marks involved here as well. Honestly, this is a big one because I still own 2 different service-related industry type businesses, and from time to time we will get bad vibe clients on board. It's kind of like, oh my God, this is brutal. I knew this was going to go this way, but we took the client on board. Why? Because we're bloody greedy. That simple, right? Amen. We are absolutely greedy when it comes to this stuff because we see the money, we see the dollar signs, and we're like, oh my God, yeah, I can add another $100,000 to my bottom line this year, or whatever the case may be. So I loved this from my buddy in the UK, not accepting new clients that he has a bad vibe about. That's a really, really good way of kicking in your non-negotiables. Another one is to not skip on my weekly chiropractor visits. Actually, this is one of my ones as well. Maybe not as important as some of the big business goals, but from a personal perspective, this is huge. Now, I had back surgery. Some of you might know of my, my issues with my L5-S1 spinal fusion, but this is a huge one because making sure that my back is in really good condition at all times is important to me, and obviously the future of my overall well-being and ultimately life. I mean, this is all about my lifestyle and how I feel. Now, I'm in good shape. Don't get me wrong, but I have been skipping on my weekly chiropractor visits recently, and so I think it's important that I get in there and I get those weekly chiropractor visits in place so that I can feel tip-top at all times. Every now and then, I do feel a little achy. So I'm hoping that being a good boy, and actually I'm going for my first one tomorrow. So there you go. Feel free to follow up on me on that, any of you, if you want to test me at some point in the future. Lastly, this was another big one actually from a very good friend of mine over in the United States. She's a very popular vlogger. I don't mention names, but a very popular vlogger. And one of her non-negotiables for 2018 is to no longer work past 4 p.m. every workday. Huge. 4 p.m. I mean, think about it from an entrepreneur perspective. It's tough for us to sometimes switch off, right? And to kind of step away from the computer or the laptop or the phones or whatever, going into even dinner time. But she's turning around and she's saying, you know what? From 4 p.m. onwards, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm going to switch off at 4. I'm going to be present with my husband. I'm going to go out with my friends. I'm going to have fun with my family, whatever the case may be. And I love that. She actually got that from me because I don't work a minute after 4 p.m. usually. Yes, it's nighttime here in the Philippines where I'm currently based, and I'm doing this masterclass for you. But anybody that knows me knows that I've not worked a Friday, for example, for almost 5 years now. I do a 4-day week, and I work from probably around about 8 in the morning to 4 p.m. or sometimes even a little less, Monday to Thursday. And I get done what needs to be done, and it's huge. Ryan's kicking in some more stuff here. No more working to avoid work. I love that. Love it. Family time from 4 p.m. onwards, says Jonathan. Amy saying, I think working longer creates an illusion that we have more time to do things. I completely agree with you. Ryan is saying that no more chasing old money from before 2018. I think that's great. Mark is saying 8 hours sleep per night. Huge. So that's our non-negotiable exercise. Did you find that one a bit of an eye-opener? Let me know. Just a quick yes real quick. You don't have to share any more. That's enough for now. But I'm curious to know whether this stuff is kind of resonating with you. I know inside of the Youpreneur community that we've been talking a lot about this recently, and people are really getting into this stuff. All right, we've got a lot of yeses coming through, which is good. Okay, good. So let's do one more exercise with each other here real quick. This is my 3 lists to freedom exercise, okay? So this is where planning your perfect year really comes down to what you are doing and what you are not doing every single day, every week, every month, every quarter, and so on and so on. So I want you to get a piece of paper in front of you. You can start this off right now and then really go into thought mode, okay, when we're done here. But ultimately, I want you to start this off right now. Get a piece of paper, draw 2 lines down it, creating 3 different columns like you see on the screen right now. All right? And then what we're going to do is we're going to create these 3 lists of freedom. The first one being the things that you hate to do, okay? These are the hate to do tasks. The second column is going to be a list of all the things that you can't do or that you struggle doing with, okay? A little bit of self-awareness, which we'll talk about in a minute, comes into play there. And then lastly, a list of all the things that you feel as the business owner that you are, as the entrepreneur that you want to truly become. These are a list of all the tasks that you shouldn't do, that maybe your time is better spent, right, on more high-level activities. So, for some examples here, the things that you might hate to do are things like managing your social media, checking your email. You know how I feel about that one. Maybe booking your travel if you're a regular traveler. Think about all the things that you really hate doing and write them down right now, okay, in that first column. Once you've written them down, go ahead and type them out and send them through to me. I'm going to read some of them out just to give people some more ideas. Okay, we've got lots coming through. Minnie is saying dishes and laundry. Amen. I'm sure a lot of people will agree with you on that. Customer service, email, bookkeeping and taxes, editing my YouTube videos, dealing with accounts. Accounting is always a big one, I can tell you. QuickBooks is coming up as well. Admin, managing junk email, says Beverly. Facebook ads, says Ryan. Accounts again has come up. Some people hate cold calling. They certainly do. But some of us also are quite happy to do it. I have built all my businesses via cold calling. I have no problems doing that at all. I don't call it cold calling. I call it prospecting. So there you go. Faffing with my website, says Julie. Oh, Julie. Where are you from, Julie? What a great term. Faffing with the website. Okay, excellent. I love it. Well, yes, I knew you were from the UK, Julie. Whereabouts in the UK? I hate monthly reporting, marketing surveys. Alex is saying he loves cold calling. Lincolnshire, Julie. Good. All right. Oh, such a great term. Such a great term. Okay, so that's all the ideas that we've got. Although there was a lot more, actually. I'm not going to read them all out in regards to the tasks that you hate doing. Getting back to our 3 lists, the next list of all the things that you can't do, all the things that you struggle with, right? So this is important because it could be as simple as things like editing your podcasts or designing social media graphics and that sort of type of thing. Maybe it is your bookkeeping and your accounts. But ultimately, it's all about the things that you just can't do. All right? You just can't do. So think about that for a second. Think about the things that you can't do. And remember, as an entrepreneur, we think, we're kind of wired differently than, the members of the human race, right? The normal people out there. Our DNA is slightly different, okay? So it might be tougher for us to admit these things to ourselves because we think that we know how to do everything, right? But the fact of the matter is we don't. So I'll be quiet for a minute. And I want you to write down all the things that you struggle with and all the tasks that you simply just can't do. That you just can't do. Write them down and then type them out. Lots of great stuff coming in here. Maria saying putting together contracts, personalizing videos, graphics, and lead magnets, writing and video editing, managing Google and Facebook analytics, video editing again, talking on camera, networking efficiently, building meaningful relationships. Mark, you're great at that. I find that hard to find that you struggle with that, my man. I know you pretty well now. I think you've built some very meaningful relationships since I've got to know you. What else have we got? Doing SEO. Absolutely. Antonio agrees with Mukesh on that. Good. Love it. Laurie says, may I point out that we should be careful about what we tell ourselves we can't do. We create our own limitation. Indeed, but we'll go into that a little bit more in a minute, Laurie. Okay, so this third list is a list of all the things that you shouldn't be doing. Now, this is going to be very, very different for everyone on this call, right? A list of all the things that you feel you shouldn't be doing. Maybe it's handling tier 1 support in your business. Maybe it's editing those online or those YouTube videos like so many of you said that you can't do. Maybe you can do them, but you feel you shouldn't be doing them. You got to rethink things a little bit here. Maybe it's building landing pages with lead pages or anything else out. Remember, the shouldn't do tasks, you might actually like doing some of these. You could potentially even be very good at doing some of these tasks. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to the big question of should I actually be doing them? That's the big one. So write them down and then just jot them in real quick, and we'll read through a few real quick. Going into the final stretch here, guys. So start thinking about some of the questions that you want to throw at me. I'll do about 15 or so minutes of questions when we're done. Okay. All right. Now, when we're done with this, let's read some of these out real quick. Anissa's saying that she thinks that a lot of people get stuck because they don't know who to hire to help out. Could be a good point. It could be a very good point. And I'll probably be doing a masterclass very, very soon on building a great team to help you build your business online as well. Other things that you shouldn't be doing, social media management, which is where the Youpreneur community can come in handy, says Anissa. Thank you, Anissa, for the follow-up. The little soft pitch there. I love that. Jonathan's saying that he shouldn't be spending so much time socializing on Facebook. I think a lot of people could agree with you on that. Mike is saying that he shouldn't eat the lemon drizzle cake that his wife just bought him. Mike, don't be bloody ridiculous, right? You absolutely should eat the lemon drizzle cake that your wife just bought you. I'm going to put it out there. Right now, you should get involved with that cake immediately. Hell, you know what? I wouldn't pass judgment if you started it right now on the call, Mike. I would not pass judgment at all. Oh, dear. Lots of lols coming through. And actually, several people agreeing. Not only that Mike should eat the cake, but he should also share said cake with other people, according to Nicole and Mike and Rebecca and a few other people as well. Maria's like, can I have some cake? Julie's like, eat the cake, Mike. Just eat it, okay? This is what happens when you come to one of my masterclasses, everybody. We start talking about cakes. Oh, dear. Some of your comments are hilarious. All right, let's keep going. So all of this, what this does is it kind of creates a roadmap for us, and it allows us to become more self-aware on who we are, what we can do, what we don't like to do, what we hate doing, what we struggle doing, what we feel we should not be doing, and a whole lot of other stuff as well. Very, very important. Very, very important for us to become as self-aware as possible. So take all that into consideration when you're planning your year post this masterclass, right? So I want to wrap up here with a couple of real quick. First of all, some reminders. These are the 3 must-dos for 2018 if you want to have your best year yet. Firstly, you want to stop comparing yourself to others, okay? And let me just see a quick yes in the comment section right now. If you, at some point in the next 3, or rather in the last 5 to 7 days or so, have seen somebody on social media that you have looked at, one of their posts, and you have said, oh my gosh, I should be doing those videos, or I should do that kind of quote image on Instagram, or I should be doing more podcasts, or I should be writing more blog posts, or I should be where that person is right now. Why can't I have more YouTube followers? Why can't I do all this stuff? There are a ton of comments coming in right now. A ton. My friends, please stop doing this. Mark is saying, I keep comparing myself to people like you. Should I stop? Yes, absolutely. Because Mark, you and I both know that I'm much further along in my entrepreneurial journey than you are. Okay? You cannot compare someone else's 10,000th step to your number 100 or 1,000. You can't do it. It's silly. It's just not possible for you to do that and feel good about yourself. Can you watch other people for inspiration? Absolutely you can. Yes, absolutely you can do that. Bit of motivation, bit of a kick up the backside, maybe hold your feet to the fire a little bit. Sure, go ahead and do that. Sure, go ahead and do that. But stop comparing yourself to others. Remember, I'll say it again. And Matt is saying he loves a quote. I'm going to give you it again. You can't compare somebody else's 10,000th step to your 100th. Don't do it. Okay? That's your 3 must-dos going in 2018. Number 2 is to commit to taking daily action. Whatever your annual money number is, whatever it's going to figure out per day for you once you reverse engineer it, whatever you're going to do to achieve it, whatever you're going to launch, whatever you're going to create, whatever you're going to sell to bring in that money, whatever it is that you're going to do on your 3 list of freedom, whatever your non-negotiables are, you must commit to taking daily action. Daily action. 1, 2, 3 things each day. And whatever those things are, you've got to chase it down. It ain't going to fall in your lap. Whatever you want to achieve, you can actually achieve it. I truly believe that. Walt Disney, if you can dream it, you can do it. But only if you chase it down. A few years ago, I dreamt about holding my first ever big live event. And I've held many successful smaller live events from 8 people around a little conference room table right the way up to 75, 100 people in a mastermind setting or a workshop or whatever the case may be, right? I've done many events in the last 10 years, but I always dreamt about holding my first really big live event. But more importantly, doing it in my hometown of London. And last month, I achieved that goal when we held the first ever Youpreneur Summit. We had over 350 people from 37 countries around the world attend that event. It sold out 4 months before the event even took place. I probably could have sold another 100 tickets, easy, quite frankly, but we sold the place out. Look at this picture. How do you think I felt knowing that I dreamt about doing this event for years? And after all of our hard work at Team Ducker, we were able to pull it off and do it in such a successful way. And so many of you that are here today were actually at this event. A lot of you are saying, and actually Mark is now saying in the comments, that I should have charged 4 times the amount that I did, or at least double what I did. The tickets were so cheap. The fact is that I didn't hold this event to make money. I didn't make that much money on it at all, to be honest with you. What I really focused in on was just putting on a great event to help as many people as possible to all come together. Are we doing it again next November in London? You bet your bottom bloody dollar we are. And I hope to get, obviously, more people to come next year as well. But this happened, guys. Let me go back to this slide. This happened because of these 3 things. I stopped comparing myself to my entrepreneurial heroes like Richard Branson and you know, Lord Sugar and all these other people. Like, I stopped comparing myself to other people that were well ahead of me in my entrepreneurial journey. I committed to taking daily action, and boy, did I take daily action last year. A lot of daily action. Anybody that's in the Youpreneur community will know just how much action I took last year. But most importantly, I had this unwavering, non-stop, screw you attitude at chasing it down. No matter what it was that I was working on, seriously, no matter what it was that I was working on, I chased it down. I chased it down over and over and over again. Roberto saying, thanks for sharing that, Chris, that you didn't make much money from the event. You made that pretty obvious because having a great event was clearly your number one goal. It absolutely was. And we'll do it again next year, Roberto. We're going to do it every year for as long as I continue to pack people into that building, the beautiful Queen Elizabeth II Convention Center right opposite Westminster Abbey. I mean, look at this venue. I did this because this was one of my dreams, and I chased it down as much as possible. Now, at the end of day 2 of the event, we did this thing where we gave out these little postcards to everybody in the audience, and we said to them, you know, this is your action card, your 30-day action card, and you see it on the slide here behind some of our victims, volunteers, obviously, who I pulled up on stage to kind of share what was on their action card. And their action card basically says, it's 30 days from now and ... So as we wrap up the masterclass here, what I want to do is I want you to all fill in your own 30-day action card right now with me. Okay? Write it down, type it out, whatever it is, and please, please, please tweet me at Chris Ducker with a copy of it. I want to see what this masterclass has done inside of you to be able to bring that out so that you can go ahead and actually take actions in January to kind of tick off several to-do items from that list. Now, look, these particular goals, these 30-day goals, okay, they don't necessarily have to have monetary numbers next to them, okay? They don't have to have a monetary number on this card. They can be attainable goals. They can be goals that ultimately will just help you forward towards that annual money goal throughout the course of 2018. Maybe it's launching a brand new podcast. Maybe it's becoming more consistent with your blogging. Maybe it's launching a course that's been shelved for the last 6 months and you're eventually going to get it out 30 days from now and not only serve your customers in doing so, but also put more money in your bank account as well. Whatever it is, it's 30 days from now and ... It's 30 days from now, and I have my workshop ready and planned for February, says Antonio. It's 30 days from now. I've been on a podcast, and I rocked. Sold 5 out of 10 coaching spots for my 13-week program, says Tanya. Wow, look at all this stuff. You guys are so great. And Lisa's saying it's 30 days from now, and I'm launching my mid-tier 12-month coaching program. Brilliant. Kiki, 30 days from now, and I've wrote the first chapter of my new book. Judy, you know what, Judy, this is a great one. It's 30 days from now, and I have a solid plan in place for 2018. And Chris Ducker's masterclass was the best masterclass I've ever been on. Okay, all right, I added that last bit, but Judy, good stuff. I love it. Now, a lot of the people that have been on this call and have been commenting and giving feedback, people like Anissa and Jonathan and Christine and Mark and so many of you out there, Martina, so many of you guys that have been commenting away. You are members of the Youpreneur Mastermind community.